Hello friends, so for math today we reviewed multiplying decimals by copying and by using some estimation. But first I wanted to go over a couple of things because it came to my attention that there were some misunderstandings about some decimals. So if I write this decimal, is it larger or smaller than 1? This is 43 hundredths. Is it larger or smaller than 1? And many students in my class said, well, it's larger than 1. And I said, well, let's think about that for a second. If I draw a dollar sign in front of it, is this more or less than a dollar? It's less than a dollar. I don't have an entire dollar. So this number is less than 1. And we can see this when we put numbers on our place value chart. So if I did 6 and 72 thousandths, right? This number, the 6, is in the ones place. And sometimes if it helps you to think about it like this, just draw a dollar sign. Okay? Or draw it in your mind. Mentally draw that dollar sign on the paper to help you figure out what's the whole number. Because when we're estimating to answer our multiplication problems or to give us a good idea of what the answer could be, we need to know that we need to multiply by the whole number. We also need to look at rounding. If this number, if I said to you, we're going to take 3 times 6 and 72 thousandths, right? Okay. I'm going to have you do that, and we're going to estimate it first. Now, the first thing you would do is maybe say, well, 3 times 6 is 18. But this number is actually, because this is a 7, if I were to round this, right? If I were to round this 7 and make this into a whole number, this is bigger than 5, isn't it? So I need to round up, and I want to round up to the ones place. So this would, my estimation would be closer to 3 times 7 than it would be to 3 times 6, because 6 and 72 hundredths is closer to 7 than it is to 6. So when I'm looking at estimating, my answer is going to be close to 21. We can say it's going to be between 18 and 21, right? Because 3 times 6 is 18, right? If we're going to estimate, right? Remember this little squiggly line. Pair of squiggly lines doesn't mean equals, it means approximately or about. It's going to be about 18, but actually it's going to be closer. It's going to be closer to 21, isn't it? Right? So if I did the math and I got for my answer 24.63, I would know that I didn't do it correctly because my answer needs to fall between 18 and 21. Because 6 and 72 hundredths is between 6 and 7. So really think hard. Remember, the whole number is the one on this side of the decimal, right? Just like if it was dollars and cents, right? I have 72 cents. I don't have a whole dollar, do I? I need to multiply by the 6, right? So let's take a look at our problem set for today. And it's just some more practice to make sure that we are solid. So, remember, standard form is just the way we write a number, okay? So when we're plugging things in here, this says 4 groups of 5 hundredths. It's the same thing as saying 4 copies of 5 hundredths, isn't it? It's just like if I had 4 groups of apples. If I have 4 groups of 5 apples, how many apples would I have? Same thing when we're talking about hundredths. So what it's going to want you to do is write the 4 in here, 5 here, and this right here is not going to be a decimal, okay, because it is hundredths. It's already labeled. So we would answer that. What's 4 times 5? 5, 10, 15, 20, right? It's 20 hundredths, okay? But on your place value chart, you're going to want to look extra carefully at that because 20 hundredths, remember, on our place value chart, we can't have 20 all in that hundredths column. We have to bundle and move over, don't we? So we're going to bundle 2, because the 2 is in the tens place, and that moves over to the 10. If I just wrote 20 right here, right? I can't do that, can I? Here's my decimal. I can't do that. So So I have to bundle these 10s, right, and bring them over here, right? And so I would write a 2 here and a 0 here. And what are we going to put in front of the decimal? Nothing. A 0. There's nothing there. Now down here, you're going to be asked to write an equation, okay? 3 times 500ths. That's not spelled right. Oh, it is. Sorry, it's a little fuzzy on my screen. Okay, so it's asking you to write 3 times 500ths. So just like up here, where you wrote 4 times 500ths, you're going to write the same thing in here, no spaces. So you would write 3 times 5, okay, equals 3 times 500ths. You could also write the word in here. 3 times 500ths could go in there. 3 times 5 is going to equal what? 5, 10, 15 hundredths, right? We have the same issue that we had on problem B here as well, because if I write the 15 here, I can't do that. I have to move some of them over, right? Now, down here, make sure you get it in the correct order. That was the other thing that came up today. This is 3 times 5. It's not 5 times 3. The answer is the same, but it's 3 times 5, not 5 times 3, okay? Down here, 6 times 8, not 8 times 6, okay? And if it's giving you, this should give you the green check marks if you get it correct. If you're getting a red X, it may have to do with spelling, it may have to do with spacing, it may have to do with that it wants you to put the equals in there, okay? So don't get frustrated if you're sure you're correct. Now down here, we have an area model, right? 4 times 6 and 79 hundredths. And they've broken this down. Here's our units, right? We have 6 ones. See, there's 6 ones. We have 7 tenths, 7 tenths. We have 9 hundredths, 9 hundredths. So 6. This is our ones, right? So we get an answer here. We get an answer for tenths. Now you're going to need to convert that answer into, now this one you're going to want to label. So you're either going to answer, what's 4 times 7? 4 times 7 is 28. So you're going to need to write 4 times 7, or you're going to need to write, 28 tenths. Got to write it in there, okay? Same with hundredths, right? And then you're going to have to convert it to standard form to add it all up to get an answer right there, okay? The next page, we're doing some estimation, right? Choose the reasonable product. Now, 2 times 3 is 6. This is where you're explaining your thinking, right? Explain your thinking by using words, pictures, or numbers, okay? Explain how you came to that answer. 4.27 times 6. Well, 4 times 6 is about 24, right? So we're looking for an answer that's about 24. Well, this answer is 2,500, 2,562. That's too big. We're looking for something around 24, okay? Now, down here, same thing. This one is where we got a little confused, okay? This number, 4.82, your first thought is, well, maybe I should do 9 times 4. And that's a good place to start. But all of these numbers are much bigger than what 9 times 4 comes out as. And again, that's because 4.82 is actually closer to 5. 4.82 is closer to 5. So if we did 9 times 5, it might give us a better estimation to figure out which answer we're going to choose. So put that in. Look at the examples if you have questions. Ms. Tapia made this class kick and she did a great job with the samples so that you can figure out how to do the work. All right? Have a great weekend. Keep practicing and you'll get this math, I promise.